Hey guys, Swagner here, and welcome to. I ain't even gonna front with you. I have no idea how to pronounce this. It's called mycorrhia. I don't know how to say it unless I'm like retarded. I don't know how to say it. This is day 16, I believe. I'm a little bit behind, but let's just get into it. Turn on dyslexic font. No, can you turn on like retarded font? Because that's what I am. Before you get into the game, there are a few things you might want to know. Ooh, I mean, I don't know what the fuck this is, so like, I might as well. If you already played Dude, I forget. Okay, because I obviously downloaded this. I didn't realize I downloaded another fucking virtual novel. I swear to God. If it's as boring as Up All Night, I swear. Then you might be familiar with these shortcuts, just in case you aren't. With Control, you can skip already read text. With Tab, you can toggle skipping. Don't know what that means. You can also press the fast forward button on the right of the text box. In the settings, you can turn the just skip under text. Autoplay by pressing the autoplay button. Yeah, okay. I didn't realize I already knew what this meant. Hide menu with H or middle mouse button. You can hide menu elements like the text box. You like? Oh, okay, I get it. Open menu is escape/right mouse button. Okay. Scroll back. You can scroll back text if you like to retrace your steps by using the mouse wheel or page up and page down buttons. Okay. What? V toggle selfish. Wait, what? I want what? Another thing you should be knowing is that you can play through. What? You can play through the doors in any order. Just click on whichever door you like, except the right door, which isn't implemented yet, and off you go. Some audio events in this game will make you use the stereo effects. That's the best to enjoy the game with headphones. The rest should be pretty self-explanatory. Have fun playing. I don't know how to say them. Alright, I guess I'll go through the middle door. Oh, it's one of the. Oh, this is the game I download because it's like inspired by Junji Ito. That's why I did that. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't realize I was in Act 2, but okay. My eyes were burning. It felt like hot coals were lying on my eyelids. I slowly opened them and attempted to heave myself up from the cold absolute, but I failed. My whole body was heavy. And it felt like it was being squished by a hydraulic press. After a few attempts, I finally succeeded in trying to make out where I was. I hope they fucking. I hope the game audio is capturing whatever. Just rain. As of right now, that's all I can hear. The fog in my mind lifted slowly, and I realized that I was in a dark alleyway. My vision was still blurry, and I had trouble keeping my eyes open, but I could tell that I'd never been in this place before. Slowly, my heart began to race. Was I abducted? Mugged? What happened to me? I hastily checked my body, fortunately finding no wounds. Why was I feeling this weak then? Maybe I was drugged? Epically? Oh! It's most definitely a picture you took of some door and then edited the shit in Photoshop, but As I tried to recall what might have happened to me, my eyes finally focused, and I could see the house in front of me. In fact, it was the only house on the street with its lights on. The dirty yellow glow shone through every single visible window. Okay. I felt some relief knowing that the tenants were awake. Perhaps they could tell me where I was. I approached the front door. It took me some searching to find the doorbell through the overgrown ivy. Bro, that's a big old bong you got there. A deep gong rang out from within the house when I pressed it. The sound, amplified by the cold wind cutting through my shirt, made me tense up. What an odd choice of a doorbell sound, I thought while rubbing my upper arms to rub. What did I just fucking say? While rubbing my upper arms to warm myself, I waited. No one answered. My mind twisted in confusion. Why was no one coming? I rang the doorbell again. And then I tried knocking. No response. No one was coming. I didn't understand. Did they forget to turn off the lights and go on a vacation? As the last resort, I tried turning the knob, and it actually opened. This worried me. Did something happen to the family living here? Perhaps I should find a phone and call the police. Oh shit. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the street. My heart started to pound as my body tensed up. I wanted to dash into the house, but my feet refused to move. What was that sound? Was someone out here? Pictures of otherworldly monsters and armed kidnappers popped into my mind. Those are two very different things. As my eyes scanned the darkness, the world was silent once more. I was still on the edge, but my body slowly started to relax as I regained my composure. I decided I didn't want to find out what that was. Cautiously, I stepped through the threshold and firmly closed the door behind me. I felt an immediate lurch of guilt since I was trespassing into a stranger's home. But I'd rather face a police questioning than a wanderer. Yeah, than wander around a strange neighborhood in the middle of the night. Hello, is anyone there? No answer. The house was eerily quiet. I cautiously I thought it said ventured further down the front hall. Perhaps I could find a telephone. I stopped in front of one of the doors. A dim yellow light seeped silently through the bottom. I mean, yeah, light's pretty quiet. I turned the knob, locked. Then I tried the next one, also locked. I frowned. Why were the lights behind these locked doors lit? It gave me an uneasy feeling. The door at the very end of the hall was the only one that I hadn't tried yet. I grasped it. Its handle and turned it slowly. Ah, fuck. I swung open to complete darkness. Ah, fuck. Once again, my body tensed up while my mind started to conjure horrific images. A beast with dislocated limbs and crooked teeth creeping towards me from the darkness. A floor littered with corpses and walls stained with blood. A giant spoder sitting in the corner waiting for its chance to strike. My hand shook as I reached to flick on the light. Bruh. It was an utterly ordinary bedroom. I don't believe that. My heartbeat slowly calmed down as I realized that I seemed to be safe. I felt almost silly getting scared of nothing. I don't like how quiet this is. I don't know why. Just something about quiet, like just absolute silence in a game just scares the shit out of me. I don't know why. A quick search yielded nothing but barren, dusty shelves. The bed was the only meaningful object present. Slowly but surely, a wave of fatigue washed over me. Oh shit. Oh shit, I took 40 Benadryl, and now I'm about to fucking die. With my adrenaline rush fading away, I found that I was more exhausted than I had realized. Like a worm worming its way into an apple, a single thought slowly invaded my mind. I had to sleep, trying to fight it made it worse, as if some outside power was affecting me. Sleeping in a stranger's bed in a stranger's home was the last. I don't think you need to say both of those words, but alright. The last thing I wanted to do right now. But it was soon the only thing I could think of as my consciousness faded. I had to sleep. The world turned dark. The soft covers of the bed pulled me deeper and deeper into the black abyss. What's this? I don't know if I want to know what that is. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. Did that say save? A nightmare? It seems like I just had a nightmare. I couldn't remember it anymore, but it might have been horrifying. Chills were still running down my spine. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. A look out the window confirmed it was still night. I must have either slept for a whole day or only for a few hours. don't think you slept for a whole day, but alright. Considering how, no, fucking goddamn it, how tired I was. I left the bedroom to retry the doors, just in case. They were still locked. I really wanted to go home and take a shower. I smelled my clothes, and they indeed had started to smell slightly sour. I've never referred to sour as a smell, though, so, okay. This place seemed to have nothing left to offer. Borp. Fuck. I better be off. Out on the streets, even if it was still dark. And I was missing my wallet. Okay, fuck, we just left. All I need to do was to find a police station. They'd definitely be able to help me out. Don't you have, like, a phone? With, like, internet? Unless this doesn't take place in modern times, I don't fucking know. I love how I'm in Act 2. Whatever. As I wandered around, I grew more and more aware of how big this town was. The buildings were pretty high, and nature was rather scarce. But it was strange how empty the streets were, considering how many people must be living in this town. My ears began to pick up the subtle sounds of laughter. The sounds turned to unease in my empty stomach. It was awfully late for such a public crowd. There wasn't cheering or rounds of applause, just laughter, loud and obnoxious laughter that didn't seem to pause for breath, nor, I thought I said subscribe or subside or grow. It became louder as I approached the town center, becoming a wave of commotion that sounded to be a massive crowd. They just laughed, and kept laughing. It sounded dreadful. I was tempted to change course to avoid the town center, yet this direction was my best bet to finding an inn or police station. These priorities outweighed my sense of danger. I pressed on. The laughter was bellowing with hundreds of voices until I finally could glimpse the source of the commotion. The crowd had gathered around a performer who was doing something to make them laugh. I strained to see the action peeking through the small gaps in the people that fucking loud as shit. Fucking shut up. Didn't ask. The group was just too dense. I couldn't see any details. Curiosity overwhelmed me. I started pushing through the people. They seemed to melt away without paying me much attention. As I approached, I passed a table with books. I couldn't make out their title, but I could see something resembled two masks on the cover. Paying it no mind, I pressed onward. I couldn't understand what was happening. The performer wasn't making any sounds. I couldn't make out any movement from beyond the crowd either. What was so entertaining? What I saw was the opposite of funny. It was horrifying. Oh boy. What was wrong with this? Look at the top of his head! What was wrong with his head? He turned his hips so that everyone in the crowd could have a clear view, as if he didn't want anyone to miss it. Why are people laughing at this? A bystander heard me. I don't know, his face just seems so funny. I mean, look at it. I stared at him in disbelief. He and the others really did seem to find it funny. Were they seeing something I wasn't? No matter how I looked at it, I didn't see anything other than disturbing. I averted my gaze and walked away. I wanted nothing to do with this madness. I guess that just happened. Okay. While continuing to comb through the town center while trying to keep my distance from the crowd, I noticed that the sun had already started to rise. Okay. And I still hadn't found anything that even vaguely resembled a police station. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? I had walked by a girl that was standing nearby. She was watching the crowd from a distance. Yeah, it is. Fucking hell. I was glad to hear someone else was thinking the same thing. An awkward pause followed. I was under the impression that she had wanted to start up a conversation, but I guess that wasn't the case. My stomach broke the silence. Are you hungry? Blood shut to my face. It was true that I was feeling starved. Swallowing my pride, I nodded. ¿Quieres? I have a sandwich with me. You can have it. Are you sure? No worries. I'm not hungry anyways. I'll eat your flesh. While I was embarrassed to accept her generosity, I was not embarrassed enough to refuse. I had to hold myself back as to not lunge onto it, but I kept my cool and I ate it cautiously as not to embarrass myself. Some of my strength returned to me. In the meanwhile, I decided to ask her about this town. Sorry, I don't really know my way around here that well. Oh, so you're not from here? No, not really, maybe. Yeah, I could help you look. I'm feeling a bit uneasy being alone here anyways. I glanced back in the direction of the laughing crowd. Sure, I'd really appreciate that. I'm Scott, by the way. I'm May. Nice to meet you. We set off to look for help. The idea to call someone I knew from May's phone came up, but she didn't have it on her, unfortunately. We approached several people asking them for directions to lend their phones, but they all seemed to ignore us. I tried to make some small talk with May every now and then, but her replies were always short and didn't have much room for follow-ups. But she perked up when I asked about her family. I have a sister. At first I thought that'd be all I'd get out of her, but she continued after a short pause. She's been home recently. Usually she'd leave early and return late, or not return home at all for several days. Her job is really important, so it's understandable, but I was really happy when she told me she wouldn't go to work for a while. I assumed she was finally able to request some time off. But she continued to work even at home. She's doing it to help people, and I'm proud of her, but I still wish we could hang out more. May hung her head. It seemed like I had touched a sensitive topic. Yeah, dick. I thought of ways to console her and cheer her up, but couldn't come up with anything to say. Since I didn't have any siblings, it was hard to relate, but it seemed like she really loved her sister. I could ironically relate more to May's sister, just as her. I too barely been home due to my work. Bro, I didn't fucking ask. And just like her, I'd likely still continue working, even if I was home. But as opposed to May's sister, I didn't have anyone waiting for me back home. Dude, fucking down bad, didn't ask. I decided against poking any further and instead shifted my focus back to asking people for directions without much luck. Oddly enough, it says if they were all going the same direction, the town center. Do you think they're going to see that performer? Silence. Maybe she hadn't heard me. I turned around to ask her again, but she was nowhere to be seen. Oh, fuck, the music's getting creepy. Just as I finished that thought, I felt fuck me. Yeah, I knew that was coming. What the hell? What do you think? Do I look funny? What? No, get away from me. I took a few steps back, almost afraid the man could lunge at me. But he didn't. He just stood there with his distorted face. I see. Maybe I didn't do it right. And with that, he walked off. Almost disappointed, he took a book out of his pocket and started flipping through it. For some weird reason, he seemed familiar. Was he that man laughing in the crowd that I had talked to earlier? This town was giving me the creeps. I need to get out of here as fast as I could. But, fuck. Oh, shit. It's like as a virus was spread while we were looking for help. Without a second thought, I hurried off. I tried not to look at anyone in the eye. Wherever I went, those people were everywhere. On top of that, the town seemed to have no end, as I couldn't find a road that led out, no matter how long I searched. Just as I was wondering about what to do, I recognized someone standing on the side of the road. Oh, great. There you are. You had me worried. Oh, I'm sorry. I had something to take care of. That sounded oddly vague. But I didn't want to be rude, so I dropped it. She did give me a sandwich after all, and obviously that means she's trustworthy. Did you have any luck finding your way back home? No, still nothing, and on top of that, there were these weird people walking around. Actually, I know someone who may be able to help. You do? Yeah, they don't live far from here. How about I introduce you? Oh yeah, sure. Wasn't she new in this town? Maybe she met them when we were separated. I considered questioning her, but this was the only lead I had, so I had found. So far, and I didn't want to lose this chance. Aw, fuck this. We arrived in an old, tall building. Dude, I don't like it when something seemed different about her. I couldn't quite place the reason why. Perhaps it was just my imagination. They live here on the highest floor. The building is pretty old and not many people live here anymore, so it's a bit run down. I appreciate it. If you went in first. I didn't protest then, let us into the structure. Oh, fuck. The building was quite desolate, just as she had said. This place made me feel uneasy. I didn't want to stay any longer than I had to. Not only was I afraid that everything would come down on our heads any minute now, I could only imagine what could lurk in these abandoned halls. I couldn't blame her for wanting me to go first. After climbing the set of stairs, May spoke up again. It should be the door at the end of this hall. I saw the door she was referring to. It was probably the only door in the entire building that wasn't damaged. The clean coat of paint was an eerie contrast to the ravaged environment. Ah, fuck. And the one living there can help me out? No reply. Turned around and saw nothing. May was gone. Again. She could have at least said goodbye. Oh god. I walked to the door and knocked, but it was already open. Maybe I had the wrong door after all. Yet May seemed certain. Now, bro, we enter in the apartment. Perhaps they forgot to lock the door, or May could have already been notified them we were coming and they left the door open for us. Gave the door a soft push. Hello? No reply. It's a very small apartment. The door opened to a living room, which seemed to double as a bedroom. A single corridor led to two more rooms, probably the bathroom and the kitchen. Just like the door itself, everything looked way too clean and tidy compared to the hallway outside. I didn't feel like breaking into the Can you fucking stop? But they did leave the door open. Maybe they wanted me to wait inside. I stepped through the door and peeped through a window, hoping to spot this person that I was supposed to meet. The town looked normal from up here, but I knew that wasn't the case. Something was wrong with this place, and I was trapped here. Would I ever be able to return home? I had people who relied on me. Would my team at the lab manage without me? Dude, I probably should have played Act 1, but fuck it, dude. We going. The only reason why I took on that project was so I could help them out, and now I tore myself away from the window. It wasn't the time to think about that. What should I be concentrating on right now is to find a way out. Just stay and wait. Shouldn't be too nosy after all. I was just a guest, so I waited. Suddenly I heard a sound. I hastily slipped into the closet and carefully pulled it shut. I wasn't sure where I was hiding, but I had an awful feeling in my guts. Finding a stranger standing in your apartment probably wouldn't be something someone would take in stride. Then again, finding one in your closet would be even worse. I watched through the slits in the door as they entered the apartment through the half-closed door. They stopped in the entryway and took a look around the room. Was this the tenant of the apartment? Shadows were obscuring part of their body. I strained my eyes trying to see what they looked like, but what I saw made me cover my mouth in a gasp. Oh, fuck that. The woman's face was ravaged. Fleshy chunks clung to her forehead. Were those face parts? Tisk tisk. Forgot to close the door again. She spoke to herself and moved as if nothing was wrong, but her face was horrendous. She walked up to the mirror. This looks so much better, just like in the book. I should check the text again. I may have missed something. She picked up a book that was lying on the desk and flipped it open. I see. I need more. Yes, definitely more. She looked back in the mirror and caressed her disfigured face. She backed towards the exit and left the apartment. Her eyes never left the mirror. I remained frozen in the closet for a few more minutes. My heart slowly calmed itself. Once I was sure that she was really gone, I left the closet. I needed to get myself as far away from this building and hopefully this town as fast as I possibly could. As I was about to step out in the apartment, I suddenly have a weight of fatigue come over. What? It was as if I stepped into a veil. The air had gotten heavier and my breathing became more ragged. I clutched my chest and tried to figure out what was going on. Throbbing pain pulsed through my arm as if something had stabbed me. I tried to turn around, but I had already become too weak. My feet gave and my vision darkened. Damn! Could I feel the presence near me? The woman? May? Before I could find out, my conscience faded. As it does. Okay. Usually you'd be sent straight to the title screen, but since the goal of this demo is to gather some valuable feedback, I hope you won't mind if I bother you real quick. Oh, this is such a nice little developer. I'm not gonna do that though. Or at a later point by clicking the feedback button in the menu. Yeah, okay. You can of course always reach out to us on Twitter. Awesome. Alright, thank you for dude, this is such a fucking this is such a nice developer. I love this guy. I don't know why. Or woman, I don't know. Yeah, yes, I get it. That was cool. Alright, well that was Act 2 apparently of my I'm not gonna try to say his name again. Maybe after 31 Days of Horror I'll return to play Act 1, or maybe the full game will be out. I definitely am interested to see where this goes. I definitely enjoyed this a lot more than the first, than Up All Night. Anyway, I'm Swagner. I'll see you guys in the next adventure. Bye-bye.